Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 16th of March 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss 14 to 15 very important and the most important current affair. So watch the video till last, but before proceeding, I just want to discuss about Affairs Cloud subscription. So it means we are discussing the current affairs subscription, how you can buy this subscription and what are the benefits of this subscription. First of all, you have to download our application. The name of application is Careers Cloud. You can download from the description box link. We put a downloading link of this application in the description box. So very easily you can download this application and name is Careers Cloud. We are providing 1 year subscription and 2 year subscription. It means 2021 as well as 2022. Both the subscriptions are provided at very minimal cost. But if you want to purchase 2020 subscription, either half yearly or the yearly subscription, then you have to visit our website because it is not available on our application. So you have to visit our website, that is affairscloud.com/current affairs. So now second thing, what we are providing under this subscription. So we are providing daily wise PDF. In the daily wise PDF section, we are providing two type of PDFs. One is related to detailed current affair of particular day. Second is the question and answer PDF of the particular day, so that you can revise the question in the format of the question and answer. Next is the weekly PDF. It is very important to revise the current affair on weekly basis. Next is weekly test. Again, very important to evaluate yourself that how much current affair you can retain for long time period. Next is the monthly PDF section, and it is the most important section because we are providing various PDFs under this section. Like first is the study PDF. It means the detailed current affair of particular month will be provided under this PDF. It means you can revise the current affair on theoretical format. Next is the question and answer PDF. It is very important because all the theoretical current affair will be provided to you in the format of question and answer so that you can revise again and again. Next is the pocket PDF. As the name suggests, it is very important to revise the current affair very quickly in theoretical format before your exam. Next is the banking, finance and economy PDF. Very important for those aspirants who are preparing for banking exam. Next is the top 100 current affair. It means the best 100 current affair will be provided to you under this PDF, but this PDF also comes under the question and answer format so that you can revise current affairs again and again. So all these things like daily wise, weekly wise and monthly wise PDF provided to you so that your current affairs section will become strong. And this subscription is available in English as well as in Hindi, and price of this subscription is very much low. If you are downloading this application, then you can see the price and you will definitely surprised to see the price. And on that minimal price, we are providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. Now let's start today's current affair, that is the 16th of March 2021 current affair. But I'm requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe our channel. So we are starting our first section of today, that is the most important question section, and we will discuss 5 questions under this section. And here is the first question. What is the name of India's first centralized air conditioned railway terminal? So mark this question under the most important section because it is the India's first centralized air conditioned railway terminal. We are not talking about any airport, we are talking about the railway terminal. And answer of this question is C, guys. So answer of this question is Sir M. Visheshwarai Terminal. And mark this question and mark this person as very important person because it is being developed by the Indian Railways at a cost of almost 314 crore rupees and has been named after one of the India's first civil engineers and Bharat Ratna awardee Sir M. Visheshwarai. So remember, this railway station or this terminal is situated in the Bengaluru, Karnataka. So remember this. You can see here India's railway first fully centralized AC terminal in Bengaluru to begin operation, and it is themed on the airport structure, so you can also see some pictures. So you can see here it is the India's first centralized air conditioned railway terminal at Bayappa Nahali in Bengaluru, Karnataka, and it is set to become the operational soon. And it has been named after one of the India's first civil engineers and Bharat Ratna awardee Sir M. Visheshwarai. So guys, remember it was sanctioned in 2015-16 and is the third coach terminal in this area, like in the Bayappa Nahali area in the Bengaluru, Karnataka. So remember, it has very important features like a very important features in the airport, like reserved VIP lounge, food court is there, escalators are there, subway is there, or you can say the very important things which are basically needful for the people are structured under this terminal. So guys, you have to remember the recent related news that Union Minister Piyush Goyal, that is the Minister of Railway, launched the first of its kind Indian Railways dedicated freight portal known as the Freight Business Developmental Portal on the lines of ease of doing business, so that India can improve in the ease of doing business by putting all the information on the Freight Business Development Portal, so that luggage or any type of the material can be transferred from one place to another, and all the informations can be generated under this portal. So this is a very new kind of thing. And guys, remember about Indian Railways. Indian Railway current CEO is Suneet Sharma. Don't VK Yadav. Don't remember VK Yadav now. CEO is Suneet Sharma. Head office is in New Delhi. Now we are moving to next question. Who became the first ever Indian fencer to qualify for an Olympics? And guys, Olympics means we are talking about Tokyo Olympics in 2021. Remember, 2021 due to COVID-19 in 2020, it was postponed to the 2021. And remember the dates. 23rd July is the starting date of 2021 and ending date is 8th of August 2021. Remember this. And name of this person, like first ever Indian fencer, and the name of this lady is Bhavani Devi. So remember, Bhavani Devi, who comes from the Tamil Nadu, became the first ever Indian fencer to qualify for an Olympics, any Olympics. She was assured of qualification for 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Remember this. And guys, remember the Tokyo Olympics 2021 is basically took place from July 23 to 8th of August 2021. And remember about International Fencing Federation, headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. So remember the name of the Bhavani Devi. So you can see the picture of Bhavani Devi becomes first Indian fencer to qualify for Olympics. And you can also remember she belongs to which state? She belongs to Tamil Nadu. And 2 individual spots were available for grabs for the Oceania region based on the world ranking, and she is ranked 45th. It means occupied one of the 2 available slots based on the ranking. And the Tokyo Olympics, I already told about the dates, and International Fencing Federation headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. Nothing important under this question, just you have to remember one most important thing under this question, the name Bhavani Devi fencer. This is the most important thing. And guys, remember competitive fencing is one of the 5 activities which have been featured in every modern Olympic Games since 1896. It means from the beginning of the Olympic Games since 1896, 5 activities have been featured in every modern Olympic Games. Like one is the fencing, second is the you can say the athletics, cycling, swimming, and the gymnastic. These 5 games have been featured in every modern Olympic Games. Now we are moving to next question. Who is appointed as the new director and chief executive officer of the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relation? I think this is a new organization for you, and it is most important question because it is related to one of the appointment. So we are talking about the new director and CEO or chief executive officer of Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations. So just remember one line, that this organization is the economic think tank of India. Economic think tank of India. And who is appointed as the new director? Deepak Mishra. Deepak Mishra. Earlier, the director was, or the chief executive officer was, Rajat Kathuria, but the examiner can ask you about the current director, then answer is Deepak Mishra. The other 3 appointments are again very important. The first appointment you can see here, Rama Mohan Rao Amara. He is currently the MD and CEO of SBI Card. Next is the Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She became the first woman director general of World Trade Organization. Next is the Ajay Mathur. Very important because he became the Director General of International Solar Alliance. So all the 4 appointments are very important. I am repeating again. Deepak Mishra is currently appointed as the new director and the chief executive of Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relation, which is also known as the economic think tank of India. Next, Rama Mohan Rao Amara becomes the MD and CEO of SBI Cards. Remember, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala becomes the first woman director general of World Trade Organization. Next is the Ajay Mathur, become the director general of International Solar Alliance. So these 4 appointments are very important. You have to remember this. So you can see the picture of Deepak Mishra appointed as the ICREIR director chief executive. Why we are talking about the World Bank? Because he was the practice manager of the World Bank from Indian side. So remember about the Deepak Mishra. Now moving to next question. India's first dedicated express cargo terminal exclusively for export and import of international couriers was inaugurated in which city? So the most important thing under this question, it is the first, India's first dedicated express cargo terminal, especially for the international couriers. The new facility will enable global logistic providers to reduce transaction time and cost for the shipper, thus improve ease of doing business because we can do more business by these couriers. So it will strengthen the export cargo market in the South India because this cargo terminal is in South India. And guys, I am giving you one hint I am giving you, that this cargo terminal is developed by Bangalore International Airport. Remember, Bangalore International Airport. So answer of this question is Bangalore. Very simple. So you have to remember, Bengaluru Airport launched India's first dedicated express cargo terminal. You can see here is a DHL and here is a FedEx. These two companies are very famous international courier companies, and they comes under the common user express terminal, so that it will be operated by the Express Industry Council of India. So it is very important so that we can make international transactions very easily by this terminal. So you can see here it was inaugurated in Kempe Gowda International Airport. So examiner can ask about the airport. So you have to remember Kempe Gowda International Airport. Kempe Gowda International Airport becomes the first airport recently in India to get an aviation weather monitoring system at both ends of the runway. And guys, remember, it is developed by the Bengaluru International Airport. So this you have to remember. The new facility will enable global logistic provider to reduce transaction time and cost for the shipper, thus improving ease of doing business, so that maximum to maximum countries can do business with the India. So it means it will enhance the cargo processing capability, and also the overall annual cargo capacity will increase almost by 30%. So this is a very good thing for India, and India can improve a lot of things by this. So remember this about Karnataka, because Bengaluru is in Karnataka. So you have to remember about Karnataka. Karnataka is very famous. Chief Minister is Y.S. Yediyurappa ji, and you have to remember about the national parks in the Karnataka. Very famous national parks in Karnataka. Like one you can say the Bandipur National Park is there. Very famous Bandipur National Park. Next you can say Bandipur National Park. Next is Banerghatta National Park is there. Banerghatta National Park. Kali Tiger Reserve is there. Kali Tiger Reserve. Next you can say Anshi National Park is there. Anshi National Park is there. Kudremukh National Park, most famous because it is also one of the iron ore mine. Nagarhod National Park is there. So there are very important national parks. I am repeating again. One is the Banerghatta National Park. Next is the Kali Tiger Reserve, Anshi National Park, Kudremukh National Park, Kali Tiger Reserve, and next is the Nagarhod National Park. So these you have to remember. So now we are moving to next question. Which country ranked highest in workplace satisfaction according to JLLs like Jones Lang LaSalle in Human Performance Indicator Index? So don't remember about this company like JLLs. It is an organization of United States of America, but this is the one of the first of kinds of survey like workplace or the workforce satisfaction, and also known as the Human Performance Indicator. And guys, remember one very important and the most important thing, like India ranked highest in workplace satisfaction at 98%. It means the 98% employees are satisfied with the environment which is provided during workplace. So guys, remember, it is India, and second rank goes to China. It means China's population is also happy in the workforce employment and also the environment. So India ranks highest in the workplace satisfaction like JLL HPI index. And guys, remember, India is 98% and China is 97%. So majority of high performers were technology workers. Why most of the high performers are the technology workers? Because there are so many facilities are available, like work from home is there. You can say flexible working hours, flexible you can say practice works, flexible projects, and they can also work in the remote area also. So that's why the technological workers have highest under this index, like 53%, and young professionals aged from 25 to 34 are 37%. 95% of the high performers said that they were tech ready to work remotely because they can do work from home in the remote area also due to the technology. And guys, remember, 7 in 10, it means 70% of the high performers have found a confidential space to have a difficult conversation, and 61% have a mentor at work. So there are a lot of things you have to basically read under this news, but not so much information you have to require to remember. So guys, remember, just India's rank is on the first number if we are talking about the workplace satisfaction. 98% of the employees are satisfied with the workplace. And guys, remember 2020, your own Global 500 list, a list of 500 most valuable companies across the globe of Huron Research, features a total of 11 Indian companies out of 500. This is a huge, and these 11 companies total value grew by 14%, and out of 500, maximum companies belongs to United States of America. 242 companies out of 500 belongs to United States of America. So don't remember up Jones Lang Lassalle, just remember it is a HPI index. HPI stands for human performance indicator index. Now we are moving to next question, and it is the very important question section. Here is the first question: which company launched world first PC with the plastic waste in ocean? So very simple question, mark under the very important section, because this company is targeting on the sustainable development goals. That's why they are using the plastic waste in ocean to develop a computer or PC or the laptop, and this company is Hewlett Packard. So remember, HP is the company. So you can see here, Hewlett Packard has made the world first PC using the plastic waste from the ocean, and it is to build on HP sustainability commitment, so that we cannot harm the environment. It means we have to save the environment. The HP Pavilion lineups like HP Pavilion 14, 15, and these are the series of the HP Pavilion, uses the post-consumer recycled and the plastic waste in the ocean. The outer boxes and the fiber cushions used for the packaging, so that the material inside the package should not be hampered. So that's why the boxes and the fiber cushion used for the packing of the new PCs are 100% sustainably sourced and the recyclable. So this is a very good news for the, especially for the technological industries like computer industry, because they are using this waste material to manufacture the computer or the PC. And this Pavilion series set to keep around 92,000 plastic bottles out of the ocean and landfills. So this is the huge to recycle these type of the plastic material. So it is a very good news for India as well as the global level. Now we are moving to next question, and it is the International Day of Mathematics is annually observed across the globe on which day? Again, mark under the very important question, because earlier this Mathematics Day, like before 2019, this Mathematics Day was celebrated as the Pi Day, and you can say the other generations are linked with two personalities, very famous personalities, which are also linked with the Mathematics Day, like Albert Einstein, and second is the Stephen Hawking. It means this day is celebrated on the birth anniversary of Albert Einstein and the death anniversary of the Stephen Hawking. And answer of this question is 14th of March. And guys, remember, before 2019, this day is celebrated as the Pi Day. So you can see here, International Day of Mathematics, 14th of March 2021. And guys, you have to remember what is the theme of this day: mathematics for a better world. This is the theme, and this is the most important question also. So it is to celebrate the beauty and importance of the mathematics and its essential role in everyone's life. And this day also marks the birth anniversary of renowned mathematician and the physicist Albert Einstein, and death anniversary of theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking. So these two personalities are very important. Even the current generation, last generation, generation to generation, these personalities are very, very important. The theme of the International Day of Mathematics is mathematics for a better world. And it was UNESCO in 2019 which renamed this Pi Day as a Mathematics Day. So remember this. Now we are moving to next question. What is the theme of International Day of Action for Rivers 2021? Again, very important day, because it is related to river, and earlier this day was known as International Day Against Dams for Rivers, Water and the Life. So this day is also celebrated on the 14th of March when Mathematics Day is celebrated. So you can remember both days simultaneously. So what is the theme of this day? Theme is the rights of rivers. Remember, rights of rivers, and it is just to create awareness about the importance of rivers. So there are very important rivers, like we can divide Indian rivers into two parts. One is the Himalayan rivers, second is the, you can say, southern rivers, or you can say the peninsular rivers. Major Himalayan rivers are three, like Ganga is there, Indus is there, and Brahmaputra is there. Southern rivers, most important, are the six, like Narmada is there, Tapi is there. On the east side, you can say there is a Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and Mahanadi. These four rivers in the eastern side and two rivers are on the western side. So examiner can ask in the South India, which are the two rivers which are draining in the Arabian Sea. So these are the Narmada and the Tapi. So remember, theme is the rights of rivers. So you can see here International Day of Action for Rivers on the 14th of March and theme is rights of rivers. You can also see here the International Day of Action for Rivers, which was formerly known as the International Day Against Dams for Rivers, Water and the Life. It is just to create awareness about the importance of rivers and theme is rights of rivers. And it comes under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, like Union Minister is Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji and Minister of State is Ratan Lal Kataria. So you can remember that Ministry of Jal Shakti comes under the Government of India, has focused on the revival and the conservation of the wetlands in the river basins and has been tackling the increasing level of the river pollutants. So that's why there is a national mission for clean Ganga under the Ministry of Jal Shakti was started in 2011 and National Ganga River Basin Authority also is the implementing agency of this national mission for clean Ganga. There is also a national clean Yamuna mission. There is a Saraswati mission so that we can clean these rivers. So that's why there is a rights of river day. So remember this. Now we are moving to next question. Veteran Guru Padam Shri Chemanacheri Kunhirman Nair passed away. He was belonged to which classical dance form? So you have to remember the name, that is Chemanacheri Kunhirman Nair, and he belongs to a classical dance format. So what is the name of this classical dance under which this person belongs? And this person is a Padam Shri awardee. It means this personality is very important. So you have to remember the state from which he is belonging or which he was belonging. So guys, you have to remember the state, you have to remember the classical dance form, and you have to remember the name. So name you know, state is Kerala, you have to remember, and dance form is Kathakali. Dance form is Kathakali. You can also see the picture of the Chemanacheri ji, and he passed away. And you can also see here, he founded the Bharatiya Natya Kalyam, the first school of dance in the North Kerala in 1945. If you belongs to Kerala, then this news is very important for you guys, very important. And in 1983, he established the Chelia Kathakali Vidyalayam, it means a school of Kathakali in Kozhikode. So he was honored with the fourth highest civilian award, because first highest civilian is the Bharat Ratna, second is the Padam Vibhushan, next is the Padam Bhushan, and fourth highest is the Padam Shri in 2017 for his contribution to the Kathakali. And guys, he received this award in 2017 and he also received so many awards like Kerala Sangeet Natak Award in 1979, Kerala Kala Ratna Award in 2009, and you can say the Sangeet Natak Academy Tagore Award also with the Kerala Kala Mandalam Award in 2001. So many awards because he was associated with the classical dance form of Kerala, and this classical dance form of Kerala is you can say Kathakali, but you can also recall other form of the classical dances, and these classical dances are like Bharatnatyam, or you can say the Bharatnatyam. Bharatnatyam is associated with Tamil Nadu. Next is, you can say only Kathak, not the Kathakali. Kathak is related to Uttar Pradesh. Don't confuse with the Kathakali, because Kathakali related to the Kerala. And guys, remember, Odissi is related to Odisha. Very simple. Kuchipudi is related to the Andhra Pradesh. Next is the Satriya. Satriya is related to Assam. Manipuri belongs to Manipur. Mohini Attam is also belongs to Kerala. So there are two classical dances in the Kerala like Mohini Attam and the Kuchipudi. Bharatanatyam is in Tamil Nadu, Kathak is in Uttar Pradesh, Kuchipudi is in Andhra Pradesh, and remember Satriya is in Assam. Now we are moving to next question. India's foreign exchange reserves became the world's largest by surpassing Russia as per the Reserve Bank of India data. So this data is compiled by the Reserve Bank of India, but it is from the data of IMF, International Monetary Fund. So you have to remember first of all IMF, and second is what is foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange reserves are the assets held on reserve by the central bank like RBI in foreign currencies, which can include foreign currencies, bonds, treasury bills and other government securities. But most of the foreign exchange reserves are held in the US dollar, because it is the most traded currency in the world. And India's position is very much strong, and India is on the fourth spot, and India surpassed Russia because India's foreign reserve is $480.3 billion and Russia is just slightly less, like $580.1 billion. So India beats Russia and becomes the number four sport on the Forex Kitty ranking, and it is a data of the International Monetary Fund. And you can see here China has the largest reserves, followed by the Japan, Switzerland, and fourth goes to India and fifth goes to Russia. And it comes under the RBI Act of 1934 that RBI will control all the foreign reserves which are covered under the RBI Act of 1934. And guys, you have to remember that IMF countries are 190 now. Andorra is the latest country added in the IMF, you have to remember. And largest borrowers of IMF currently are Pakistan, Ukraine, Egypt, Argentina. These are the largest borrowers of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. And International Monetary Funds was established in 1944 with the World Bank. It means these organizations like IMF and the World Bank, known as the Bretton Woods twins, because these organizations are established simultaneously in 1944. And both the headquarters, like IMF and the World Bank headquarters, in Washington DC, United States of America. But member countries of IMF are 190, but World Bank member countries are 189. And who is currently the managing director? Managing director is Crystal Lena. So remember this. Now we are moving to next question, but you have to remember one recent related news, that in the 12th edition of the World Economic League Table 2021, India slumped one spot to the 6th largest economy. But in 2019, India was the 5th largest economy. But in 2020, you know that due to COVID-19, so much economy is impacted. So that's why India slipped to the one spot. Now India is the 6th largest economy out of 195 countries. Now moving to next question. According to the Autocratization Turns Viral Democracy Report 2021, India's regime type has turned to. It means what is the type of democracy in India? So out of these options, one is the type of Indian democracy, and answer of this question is electoral autocracy. So you have to remember the report name. It is a Autocratization Turns Viral Democracy Report 2021. And what is the type of democracy that India exists? So it is the electoral autocracy. But in 2010, India's democracy is electoral democracy. So it means there is a lot of freedom under this index. And guys, remember, this index is prepared by one of the Sweden institute that is known as VDEM Institute. VDEM stands for Varieties of Democracy. And remember, India now comes under the electoral autocracy in 2020, but in 2010 India was under the electoral democracy. Like 3 countries you can remember, but you can see here India now an electoral autocracy, and you can see here 3 democratic countries are the best democratic countries, like Denmark, Sweden, Norway. And in every index you can see these 3 countries are with the Finland and the Switzerland. So these 5 countries are the best countries in every index, because these are the pollution free countries, these are the corruption free countries. So it means these are the best democracies. Like Denmark, Sweden and Norway comes under the best democracies under this democracy report of 2021, which is released by Sweden based institute known as the Varieties of Democracy. And remember, India is now an autocratic as same as Pakistan. So this is a very shameful for India and is worse than the Bangladesh and the Nepal. So this is a very you can say shameful news for India, that Indian democracy is same as the Pakistan. So this is not good. So guys, this ranking is downgraded because there is no freedom of media, you can say no freedom of academics, no freedom of civil society, or if you speak, then they will or the government will use the seditious law to curtail voices. The report also highlighted the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act used by the government to restrict the entry, exit and functioning of the civil society organization. And this report also highlighted the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, which has negative impact on this index. So remember this. So recently, according to the Democracy Index 2020, which is the most important thing, released by the Economist Intelligence Unit, India slipped 2 places. Earlier, India's democracy ranked on the 51st, but now India's democracy ranked at 53rd. It means India slightly slipped in the democracy index index, it means the democracy is weakened in India. So remember, out of 167, India's rank is 53rd. So don't remember about VDEM Institute. This is not important. Just remember the information which I told you. This is the most important thing you can write in the theoretical format also. Now we are moving to next question. Which state launched a 3-day long Kalnamak rice festival? It is a variety of rice. It is also known as the Buddha rice or the Buddhi rice. So it is very famous rice of the state. Remember, it has very nutritious benefits, like it is rich in antioxidants, omega-3, omega-6 oil, 12% of iron, 21.5% of zinc, and helps in regulating blood-related problems and is stable for the diabetic patient. So it means it is a rice variety that has been cultivated since 600 before Christ. It means it is known as the ancient rice. Under 22,000 of hectares of land in the Siddharth Nagar. It means I am talking about Gautam Buddha. That's why it is known as the Buddha rice. And it is situated in Uttar Pradesh because Siddharth Nagar is in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh government was started one district, one product. And Uttar Pradesh was the first state of India to launch this concept, like one district, one product, so that income of the tribal or the weaker section can be increased, so that the handicrafts can be promoted. And Uttar Pradesh also tied up with the Flipkart so that they can increase the marketing process of the products comes under the one district, one product. So you can see here Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath launched Kalnamak Rice Festival. And guys, remember who is the governor? Anandiben Patel ji. And remember, very famous national park is there, Dudhwa National Park. So you can see here, it is a 3-day long festival, comes under the one district, one product scheme, so that maximum to maximum production, processing, packaging and branding of Kalnamak rice can be enhanced. So it is one of the finest variety of aromatic rice that are grown in India, and it is very useful for the for regulating the blood related problem and is stable for the diabetic patients. And guys, remember, it is also known as the Buddha rice. And Uttar Pradesh government is the first state government who was started the concept of one district, one product. Now we are moving to next question, and next is the important question section. We will discuss one question. Which country is the India's largest supplier of oil? So very static question. So you have to just remember that India is importing so much oil from the Iraq. It means Iraq on the first place. Iraq on the first place, and answer is A. But the question is about the second rank. So second rank earlier goes to the Saudi Arabia. But now recently United States becomes India's second biggest oil supplier. It means Saudi Arabia plunges not to the third position, exactly to the fourth position. Third position goes to Nigeria. So you can see here, United States becomes India's second biggest oil supplier. Saudi plunges to the fourth spot. So it means we are talking about the Indian largest supplier of oil. So answer is Iraq. Second place goes to the USA. Third place goes to the Nigeria. Fourth place goes to Saudi Arabia, and fifth place goes to the United Arab Emirates. So you have to just remember the first and the second place, that India is importing so much oil from these countries. And guys, remember, India is the world's third largest oil importer and the consumer. Like first is the USA, second is the China, third is the India, because of high population and the high development. So you can see first is the Iraq, second is USA. Now most important organization related to this oil exporting countries, that is known as OPEC. So remember this organization. OPEC means Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So how many countries are member? 13 countries are member which are exporting oil, like UAE is there, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran. So these 13 countries are member of OPEC. So most important thing, where is the headquarter of OPEC? Headquarter is in Vienna, Australia. So remember, Vienna, Australia, V-I-E-N-N-A. Vienna is the capital of Austria, not Australia, sorry, Austria. So moving to one-liner important points, here is the first point. Punjab partners with the United Nations and other global agencies to launch 3 schemes for the women. So this question is not so much important if an examiner will not ask this question, because it is related to more than one agencies like United Nations and the other agencies. So just remember, Punjab started schemes related to the women empowerment. Punjab governor is VP Singh Badnoor and Punjab chief minister is Captain Amrinder Singh. Next, World Consumer Rights Day 2021 celebrated on 15th of March. So this is one of the very important day, but earlier we covered the rivers day, like sustainable river concept, rights of rivers, and second we also covered the mathematics day. But now we are covering the World Consumer Day of 2021, and it is celebrated on the 15th of March. It is just to highlight the power of consumers, their rights for a fair, safe and sustainable marketplace for everyone. That's why the theme is tackling plastic pollution. Remember, the theme of the World Consumer Day 2021 is tackling plastic pollution. Next is Shobha Tharoor Srinivasan children's book, Prince with a Paintbrush, the story of Raja Ravi Verma, who was very famous painter. So remember about Raja Ravi Verma, but it is related to a child book. So Srinivasan earlier authored a child book known as the Indie Alphabet, or you can say How Many Lines in a Limerick. So these are the books which are recently published, or you can say the authored by the Shobha Tharoor Srinivasan. But the most important thing under this question, this person Raja Ravi Verma, he was a celebrated Indian painter and the artist, one of the greatest painter in the Indian history of Indian art. So remember this. Even you can say that due to his vast contribution to Indian art, the government of Kerala has instituted an award called Raja Ravi Verma Prakasham, which is awarded every year to the people who have an excellence in the field of the art and culture. So even a crater on Mercury planet was named in the honor of its great Indian painter Raja Ravi Verma. So many things about Raja Ravi Verma, but you have to remember the book named as Prince with a Paintbrush, the story of Raja Ravi Verma, authored by Shobha Tharoor Srinivasan. Next is Padam awardee painter Lakshman Pai passed away at the age of 95. So this is important person because he received two important awards like Padam Bhushan and Padam Shri. Padam Bhushan in 2018 and Padam Shri in 1985, and even he received Lalit Kala Academy Award, he received the Goa State Award. So the most important thing that this person like Lakshman Pai belongs to which state? Belongs to Goa. And he belongs to which profession? He belongs to painter. So remember these two things, these are very important. And Goa is very famous. Molam National Park you can find in Goa. Next, world most powerful supercomputer, that is known as Fugaku by Japan, now fully operation. So two things you have to remember. One is the name of the country, that it is the Japan's world most powerful supercomputer created by Japan, and name of this supercomputer is Fugaku. Just examiner can ask about the Fugaku, that it belongs to which country. Next, Indian Railways integrated Rail Maded Helpline 139. Again, it means all the helplines of the railway now integrated and comes in a single number known as the 139 number, which is now the main rail-madded helpline for quick grievance redressal and inquiry mechanism during the train journey of the passenger. So remember 139. Now we are moving to the question of the day. And what was the question of 14th and 15th? Question was CK Naidu Cup is associated with which of the following sporting events? And answer of this question is very much simple, and all the students who gave the answer, I already replied to those students with the symbol of the heart. So you can check your heart symbol on the comment box. But answer of this question is cricket. So very famous person from the cricket background, that is CK Naidu. And one very important thing about CK Naidu, you can remember that he was the first captain of Indian cricket team in test matches. Remember this. So that's why this cup is associated with the cricket. Now we are moving to the question of the day. Question of the day is which is the highest award for gallantry during the peacetime, not during the wartime. It is during the peacetime. So comment only in the comment box. I am evaluating your answer. Even I am replying your answer that you are right or you are wrong. So guys, please give us 700 plus likes. Please subscribe our channel. Please press the bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is a Fairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in general awareness section. And it is my personal promise that if you are watching the videos and if you are reading the current affairs from the PDF, your current affairs section will go strong. And guys, thank you for watching this video, because 90 to 95% questions which are coming in your current affairs section in your exam are covered by the Affairs Cloud. This is the genuinity and this is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun and life is beautiful. Always be happy, because happiness is the key of success. Thank you again for watching this video and take care. Bye-bye.